That's my worry for next year, because we have some things that we really have to fix. For instance, there were a lot of Democrats who voted against this law this past time because it didn't do anything for the inner cities, for gun trafficking. It really didn't. So we need to look at those issues next year.
That's where the
And
real.
with that, we need
That's
to
not
make
anything
some
that's restricting.
Well,
Yeah.
well, let me ask you this, okay? Do you think anything good will come out of having the same cast of characters as leaders on this now? You have the same governor, you have the same Senator Looney as majority leader in the Senate, you have Don Williams as, okay, or do you think that in 2014 and January 2015, and you have a different administration with a different party that might be more agreeable to putting something through that might pass? I mean, that's what you have to ask yourself. That's the bottom line,
that should be the lesson
okay?
of Colorado.
This is what you need to ask, okay?
Yeah, we
Who's
don't
going
have recall.
to be more sympathetic,
Yeah.
okay? All right, and you're looking at someone that had an A rating until this year, okay?
Same
This
here.
year was a very unusual year, no question. So who are you going to believe that would actually sit down and treat you with respect and not insult the people that are in the manufacturing business or the people that do their activities with integrity? They hunt, they skeet shoot, they actually even get awards for competition. It has been even in the Olympics, in fact. One of the best marksmen ever, I think, was a woman.
Or they
That
don't
was
do
great.
anything that, and they just choose to carry a firearm. You know, the bottom line is,
And-
the lesson of Colorado needs to be get rid of Marty Looney and get rid of Don Williams. And people won't be put in those positions.
I've had so many people that
You
are
missed
single
one
issue
name.
voters.
I know.
Which
The
one?
changes are
I
John
hope,
McKinney.
I hope that we have enough movement against those two individuals specifically. Because I'll tell you, Marty Looney is the guy who single-handedly derailed the gun part of the task force.
Yep, he did.
He did it. He shut everything down. He shut down the ability to have really good common sense things come up. He shut the whole thing down. And nobody, I haven't seen nobody talking about Marty Looney and Don Williams for pushing this through. That's what the lesson of Colorado needs to be in Connecticut. People should be eyeing those guys up.
It's not fair for elections, but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it
It needs to start now.
it
That's-
is.
it's starting.
I hope so,
People
because
running
it's-
firearms.
But the bottom line is, who are you training
Yeah.
your sights on? And what are the true responsible parties? And who is respectful? And who would hope that every gunner would go away, basically? They can leave Connecticut and shut down, close the door.
And there are a ton of people who are comfortable with that.
Can I be candid for a minute? Can I do this off the camera record? Mr. Palin Smith, would you allow?
It's a public meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, don't do it on
Do
the
you want to go into
No,
executive
no,
session?
No,
We don't do that.
I do everything on, that's fine, but I want
I
to
don't think
be,
we
I want to
can.
be as candid as I can, okay? So obviously I'm standing here, I didn't agree with these guys voting. I didn't agree, we see things differently. But I'll tell you what, where we're going with this is crazy talk in the state. Because right now, everybody's sights are on Republicans who voted for this thing versus the people who put him in the spot. Now, I get it, as people who are conservative, we're principled people, and it's offensive, and to some people, I get it. But you know what, at the end of the day, that scares me so much in this state, as being a guy who didn't agree with it, but I want to see the Marty Looneys, Don Williams, and this culture up there of corruption, as far as I'm concerned, and pushing this crap through, go down. And if we're spending all our time, going after everybody else, it concerns me. I understand where you're coming from, and I know where your vote's going to be. That's cool. But I really hope that people, if you are upset with that bill,
What's the expression?
What
Don't cut off
happened?
your nose to spite your face.
Are you helping the
But that's-
cause by furthering
Yeah.
that type of strategy, and rather than sitting down with those individuals and having a heart-to-heart talk? I would love to sit down with every single one of you, one-on-one, look you in the eye, and tell you exactly where I stand and where I stand.
Sadly, you told us where you stood when you voted for that bill, and that was the most important vote of your career this far. To hundreds of thousands of people in this state, whether they knew it at the time you did it, or whether they're gonna know it in a couple of weeks.
Well, okay, but right now we're talking politics more than actually.
yeah, we should be
governance.
talking.
Are there any,
I got-
any
I got
questions
good
on
news.
governance?
I've got good news for you. There is a group in the 29th district called Dump Donald Williams.
Yes.
It was
Sorry.
formed last winter. It's up to about 40 people now, and they're looking hard for a candidate to run against him. It's very cohesive, and we're trying to set one up in every single Democrat district in
And
Connecticut.
that's how you affect change. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
you affect change at the ballot box. cool, you know, that's how it's done. I mean, that's how it's done.
Well, and that's the first I've heard of anybody going after the folks that I feel were the most responsible out of everything. And that has to change. The efforts have to go towards that, because we can't continue doing this kind of stuff. And it's not just that,
Yeah.
it's everything else that they
Well,
do
Thank
to
you.
push
Thank
things
you,
down.
Dan, thank you. You
It's
know
all the
what,
stuff
we're
we
talking
talked
about
about
this one issue,
Yeah.
but this is just only one of many issues that are huge. And honestly, everywhere I go, and I'm going east of the river a lot now, I will tell you, that is not what comes up. What comes up is the fact that they have no jobs and no future in this state of Connecticut any longer. They can't afford to stay here, whether they're a retired teacher, retired custodian, or retired state employee, because now their pensions are being taxed. Their kids can't stay here. We're losing the most numbers of 16 to 20-year-olds. You know, I mean, the other issues pale in comparison to that. And the individuals we're talking about, and it's not them personally, but it's the policies they believe in, and they do believe in them as much as we believe in ours, are hurting the state to the point where you can't recognize it anymore. Not the state that I grew up in, you know? I mean, I came over from Italy at the age of 5. We were poor farmers, didn't speak a word of English, had nothing. And we were able to achieve something here because the public education and the urban inner city school gave us a start into doing something. And the place is unrecognizable, and it has to stop. We have to turn it around, and the only way we can do it is to get Republicans that can actually win in the general election to change the state. And we have to. And that then permeates all the other issues that you're concerned about. You want to talk about individual liberty. There won't be a state left for that kind of life to be had here.
Any questions, any other questions?
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you.
What do we do?
All right, Jets Patriots? Right?
Oh,
Patriots, vote.